Hello, and welcome to Philip Brown's Computer Networking Lab. You're watching the instructional video called Permissions. We're on PC1, but for this exercise I have chosen to use the PC. Let me open up the control panel, and then the administrative tools. I want to access the computer management so I can create some additional user accounts and some additional groups. I'll click on the user container and create 2 test user accounts. Since these are test user accounts, there's no reason for me to require the account user to change the password the next time. And to make sure it stays permanent, I will set it up so that users cannot change the password on it. Okay, now we have our 2 test accounts. Now let's create a test group. Here we can see that the test user group that I just created is at the very bottom. Now I'm going to add the 2 users that I created into this group. One way I can do it is by just simply typing up the name and clicking on the check name button. But let me delete the results so I can show you a second way. I can click on the advanced button and click on the find now button, and it'll show me all the accounts, and I can choose the test user accounts from them by highlighting them both. We can see that both the accounts are in the text box now. I'll save them. Now they're both members of the test user group. Let me open it up again to verify that both are still there. Now let's go to My Computer so we can create a folder to test the permissions. I'll call the folder Testing Folder. We'll look at the permissions so we can see the properties that are currently on there. We need to click on the Security tab. We can see the permissions of entries already connected with the security group. As we click on each entry in the list, it shows us what permissions it has. I'll click on the Add button to add a new entry. I can add an account, and an access control list will be created for it. But what I'm going to do is create a group, and everybody that's part of a member of that group will have those permissions. Okay, we just added the testing group to the list. We can modify this list to some extent of what controls that the testing users group have over this folder. We can give it full control or partial control. Now let's take a look at the permissions of a single file. Just like folders are able to retain permissions, also individual files. I'll right click it and go to Properties, and then go to the Security tab. When I click on the Advanced button, I'm able to see the details of the permissions of each individual or group in more detail. And when you click on the Edit button, you get even more specific information. If we were to click on the deny checkbox, it will override any allowed permissions. Also, we can see who's the owner of this particular folder. The owner has the ability to change the permissions on the folder. An administrator can make themselves the owner of any folder or file. Permissions are a very useful computer security concept. We will be using this concept in practice in future videos. I hope this video was informative, and I thank you for viewing.